Hey everybody, Charlie902 here, and today you join us in Loreville near the reclamation and disposal site because today we're going to take a look at the Aegis Reclaimer, and we're getting started right after the intro. Hit it. Overview and roll. CIG's sales page for the Reclaimer says, the Aegis Reclaimer is an industrial salvage ship. Equipped with a reinforced cargo bay, a long-range jump drive, and launch pods for unmanned drones, the Reclaimer is an ideal ship for taking advantage of deep space wrecks. Tractor beams, floodlights, scanner options, and docking ports round out the tools in this capable utilitarian spacecraft. The Reclaimer's role is industrial, with a focus on heavy salvage. Its size category is 6, which is large. Its dimensions are 160 meters in length, 120 meters in width, and 55 meters in height. And its max crew size is listed as a minimum of 4 or a maximum of 5 total crew members. Offense. The Reclaimer has one manned turret with dual size 5 CF557 Galderine laser repeaters, and 6 remote turrets, each with dual size 3 CF337 Panther laser repeaters. The Reclaimer does not come stock with missiles, though the initial sales stated the Reclaimer's turrets are multi-use hardpoints, which can be mounted with defensive guns or missile batteries. It remains to be seen if that's going to be the case. Defense. The Reclaimer has 3 size 3, which are large, 5CA Acura civilian grade C shields. It has one size 4 or capital size power plant, which is an unknown grade A. And the Reclaimer has 3 size 3 large Mercury coolers, which are military grade C. Mobility. The Reclaimer's top speed is 932 meters per second, and its SCM speed is 76 meters per second. The Reclaimer's pitch is 15 degrees per second, its yaw is 15 degrees per second, and its roll is 30 degrees per second. This changed with patch 3.14 and will change again as balancing continues. The Reclaimer does have VTOL as its main thrusters double as landing gear. Its quantum drive is a size 3 large, KAMA, K-A-M-A, industrial grade C. Its hydrogen fuel capacity is 14.6 million liters, and its quantum fuel capacity is 11,000 liters. The Reclaimer's stock quantum drive range is 285 megakilometers. That's enough to make the jump from Port Olisar to Microtech about 5 times. Utility. The Reclaimer has 180 SCU of standard cargo. The Reclaimer also has an unknown amount of bespoke salvage cargo. CIG states, in addition to a large cargo hold, the hull is packed with reclamation equipment capable of processing and storing up to a constellation worth of salvage. The Reclaimer has storage for weapons, personal storage for the crew, and storage for EVA suits. The Reclaimer also has a mess for the crew, as well as fully appointed crew quarters with heads, bunks, and showers, in addition to a separate captain's suite. Manned cutter. CIG states, if you need to personally get up close, the Reclaimer also includes a manned cutter which can be deployed for EVA/recovery operations. Drones. CIG states, the ship carries an array of Surveyor-class drones for seeking out valuable items. The Claw, or as CIG calls it, the Massive Multi-Tool Arm. Equipped with a multi-tool arm that dwarfs many ships, the Reclaimer can grab spaceborne salvage and then carry it aboard for processing. The Reclaimer has 2 remote tractor beams at the front of the ship, and at this time the Reclaimer is not meant to be modular. Hey everybody, here we are on Eta, and the weather has cleared up here, and we got beautiful weather, great lighting, to look at the external walk-around of the Aegis Reclaimer. Let's get to it. Alright, so as you look at the front of the ship, you can see that it's an imposing sight. Absolutely massive. If you look up front here, you can see the, I guess you'd say bridge or cockpit. Probably cockpit's a better term for this. That actually affords you pretty good visibility, both down and to the sides and to the front here. considering how large and massive this ship is. I love how it's slightly asymmetrical as well. It's almost as if these could be two eyes, and this is the left eye of the ship here. It looks like the weather's about to change, so let's continue on. Here in the front, you can see the massive claw. I can't wait till this comes online. This claw looks like it's going to be a fun part of the salvage mechanic, grabbing hold of space debris and derelict ships and maybe non-derelict ships, and you know, executing with your manned cutter and your drones and charges and just ripping the ship apart piece by piece and salvaging that ship. Now there's an entryway here. I can only assume this has to do with maybe the drones coming in and out, or it may have to do something with the salvage mechanic directly. On either side, you can see remote turrets here. And I believe these may be the tractor beam turrets. They don't appear to have weaponry on them. All right, as we continue around, you'll see that there are, you know, different smaller arms that are folded up here along with the main claw. This one looks like it's folded back. This could be the elbow up to the shoulder here, and there's one on the other side as well. So I'm really interested to see what this claw apparatus looks like when it's fully extended in front of the reclaimer. You can see the entry elevator for personnel lowered down here at the front, and you can see it's not quite touching the ground. I can probably hop on there. We'll give that a shot in just a minute. If I can't hop on it, then we'll do a brief edit and get to the interior of the ship once I finish the walk around. You can see various lighting effects. This cabling here that goes exterior and it's kind of just a mad spaghetti of cabling here is a nice touch. I think it has a good look. This ship looks like the Nostromo from Alien, and I absolutely love it, although it can be terrifying at times when you're on the inside. The main landing gear as well as main thrusters are located on these large arms here. There's two in the front, and then there's two smaller ones in the back here you can see. It's a good and a bad thing. The good thing is there's quite a bit of give when landing. The bad thing is you can't quite see it now, but this ship has a huge tendency to bounce up and down once you've landed, which makes accessing these elevators kind of difficult at times. The landing gear is absolutely massive. Let me see if I can give you a sense of scale here by zooming out. There we go. See my player character down there? Look how absolutely massive this ship is when compared to the player character. I'm trying to look up, but when I do that, maybe I can do it with some raising up. Okay, there we go. All right, but just get a sense of scale there. All right, we're looking at the sun. The insides of these landing gears are the size of some of the smaller habs you can find. All right, I'm going to pick it up pace a little bit here. It's a massive ship. I don't want to spend all day just looking at the exterior, even though you could. So in the back here, you can kind of see the, I guess I would call it the abdomen. If this were a giant four-legged space spider, this would be the abdomen of the spider with the spinnerets back here. These are thruster outcroppings, and then you can see the two remote turrets in the back here. There is a main elevator that comes down right here where this dot is. It's kind of glitched at the moment. Where we're parked, it cannot come all the way down so that I can get onto it. And like I said, when I opened it, it glitched a little bit and it's kind of invisible at the moment. So we'll try it from the inside and see if that works. All right, the other side of the ship is the same. It is symmetrical as far as these sides are concerned, not the very front of the ship. You can see another turret right here. And let's try running up and seeing if we can hop on. Now, when I first landed, I was unable to get on this, but I think it's settled enough that I can get on this and we can go ahead and continue. Yeah, there we go. Whoop, whoop, don't die. We can continue the tour from the inside. All right, so Reclaimer is one of the older large ships in the game, so there may be glitches as we go through here. So as we first exit the elevator here for the crew entry, You'll see what I mean by alien vibes. We got, liquid dripping from the ceiling. There's, smoke, creepy lighting everywhere, cabling just running haphazardly. A very industrial vibe, a very cool look to it, but it's also very creepy at times. I don't necessarily like taking this ship out by myself because I always feel like I'm not quite alone. If we look back here, you can see what appears to be some sort of grinding area, and I assume there's doors that come open at the top here. They don't actually open currently, but you can tell there's two doors at the top when you look at the top of the ship. We'll look at that when we sit in the seat. It looks like salvage drops into here, gets ground up, and then gets carried off to be further processed. There's an elevator to the main deck. Here you have access to a remote turret, a scanner station, another remote turret, and yet another scanner station here. All right, we'll just take a look at everything as we go. Now, I can only assume that these will be escape pods. They're non-interactable right now, but that's certainly what they appear to be. It actually says EO1 and EO2. I would imagine Escape 01 and Escape 02. So if you take a right after you come into the main area here, you'll see the bridge / cockpit. I don't know what defines a bridge and what defines a cockpit, but this is small, so I'll call it a cockpit. You have a tractor beam operator here and one here, and I believe they will correlate to those two turrets that are just under the cockpit here. Once we enter the flight deck area here, you can see what I mean by the view. It's actually quite good. Surprisingly good, in fact. And right here is what's labeled as a claw operator seat. It doesn't really do anything right now. What I am going to do is hop in the pilot seat real quick, and not to take off, but one, just to show you the view in the MFDs, which lower almost like a roller coaster harness, if anything. And then we can look at the view here. So you can see you got pretty good lateral, decent in front of you, and actually pretty good below you when it comes to landing. Now, I don't want to go flight ready. I just want to turn the power on. There we go. And then we're going to exit this seat. Now, turn the power on so hopefully we can get some better lighting as we walk through the ship, and it won't be as creepy. All right, so heading towards the rear, or the aft of the ship, I believe it's called. Y'all, please forgive me on nautical terms. Before we take this elevator, I want you guys to notice there is a ladder here. Now, I'm going to stay away from ladders because they tend to be a little janky in Star Citizen right now. But as you'll see, somebody's helpfully wrote an arrow here to point out that we can call the elevator. Let's hope it works. Sometimes this elevator is bugged. Like I said, this is an older, large ship, but it is one of my favorites. I know I say that about just about every ship we're looking at, but I mean, how can you not like this thing? It's amazing. I mean, just look at the detail. Look at the detail just in the elevator here. All right, so we're going to exit out. We're on the main deck of the ship now. So we have turret access here. I'm not going to enter it. That's a manned turret on the top of the ship. And I believe it has, well, I'm not going to say now because I don't want to get it wrong, but it's got large weapons on it. I will have said that in the stats page. This is a gravity generator, and every time I look at it, it looks different. It has different effects. Right now it looks pretty darn lame, but there was a point in time when it was very shiny and rotating a lot slower, so I think they're going to do something with that to make it look cooler. But that's what generates your gravity on the ship. And there's that ladder I was talking about earlier. The ship has seen better days constantly throughout. There's leaks, there's dirt, there's writing on the walls, there's flashing, it's been used. And then you can see some more Nostromo influences here with the padded sides of the walls here. All right, so you can go one of two ways here. This central room takes you to a drone control room. You have a drone operator seat here and a drone operator seat here. And if you open the door here, come on, door. You can actually enter the drone room where it looks like they store 4 drones here, and I think they exit the ship up through the top here. So I may be incorrect with how the salvage works, because I believe that salvage room that I was talking about earlier with the grinding gears is below us. So I don't know how the salvage actually gets into the ship. Maybe it's through that front area we were looking at. All right, let's exit the drone operator's room here. All right, we'll continue around what would be the, well, this is the port side, isn't it? Okay, so there's cool stuff. You can see into this drone room from here, from either side. Glass needs some cleaning. All right, so we have this room here, which appears to be some sort of maintenance slash server area. That's about it. That's all we really have in this room. And looking at the other side, I think I'm fighting the automatic opening. This is an escape pod room. We got 1, 2, and 3 here. Okay, I'll open up. We're gonna go up a small incline here. Now there's what appears to be a panel here. I don't know what it might do, but below us is that room we were looking at with the grinders. So maybe this paneling has something to do with the salvage mechanics. Continuing further back, we see the mess. It's actually quite a big mess here. We got a kitchen area here. This is straight from Alien. Like, I don't want to eat here because I feel like a chest burster is going to burst out my chest, but it is awesome aesthetically. And it's one of the few areas on the ship where you can actually see outside. You got a nice little window there. And it looks like a kitchen on the other side as well, and maybe some type of TV or something here. Now, if we go to the other side here, there is a docking collar, which I'm not going to use now because I've died here a couple of times trying to use that. It's a little glitchy, just to let you know it's there. This is the other side of the mess. We're going to continue to the rear of the ship. All right, we've got 2 doors here. On the right, which is, this is actually the left-hand side of the ship, or the port side of the ship. This is the crew quarters, all right? So you have 4 bunks here. You've got personal storage. You've got a window, which is nice. You've got more storage. And then you have a latrine. All right, you got a couple sinks, some toothbrushes, and then you've got showers and toilets. So all in all, not too bad for crew accommodations. Certainly could be cleaner, but as far as facilities go, at least you have them. All right, let's go to the other side if this door will cooperate. And then we can see here we got captain's quarters. So on this side, crew quarters, this side, captain's quarters. All right, open back up. Captain has a desk area with some type of panel here, and it looks like a screen here as well, and an area for knickknacks and curios. He also gets a, or he or she also gets a window and a small kitchenette, which is nice. Storage, private bunk, private storage, and a private head complete with shower. Let's go in here and look. There we go. And enough toilet paper to last a little while. All right, coming back out of the captain's quarters, we're going to hang a left here. And this takes us to the rear section of the ship just before the main cargo elevator. Now, there's an airlock here. And in the airlock, there's space for 4 EVA suits and then the main airlock itself. I'm not going to go out, but I want to open it. Well, let's see if we can open it and not die. Let's tempt fate here. Looks like somebody didn't have a good re-entry. All right, come on. There we go, and you can see out to the side of the ship here. Let's see if we can zoom out here. There we go. There's where we are relative to the ship here. So let's go back in. Let's get out of here before we die. And there's the same thing on the other side. So 8 EVA suits. And then there's medical facilities over here. Maybe just med cabinets and supplies. All right, before we hit this rear section here, I'm going to try to go down this ladder to the subdeck. As far as I know, this is the only route down here without just jumping down here and breaking your legs. All right, this is, once again, taken straight from the movie Alien. This is your capital power supply, which is awesome. This ship apparently needs a capital power supply for its 3 massive shields and its array of other systems. I'm sure the salvaging mechanics. So engineering panel 2, does it work? It does work. It flips up at least. And let's hope we're not stuck on it. Let's go exit. I'm not going to try to power it on. But yeah, that is your capital power supply there. So let's head on back. Go up the other ladder. Please don't glitch out on the ladder. All right, we've survived. Now let's hit the rear cargo elevator. Okay, you see it actually has a cargo grid on the elevator itself. Okay, so right now, let's go to the salvage balcony. Okay, it takes us up. You see there's salvage. Now, important thing to know about this elevator, do not try to walk across this part if it hasn't folded down. You will fall through. So this is the salvage balcony. Now, as to what this is going to do in this room, I imagine this is your salvage storage, but it may serve some other purpose. Like I said, well, it remains to be seen once the salvage mechanics are in. But you can see back to the rear, there's a section where looks like cargo or even salvage can fall down through the back there. So maybe it gets processed here. There's a series of overhead cranes to maybe move parts around. And this is actually quite a large section. You can look in here. This is a large area of the ship. All right, that's the salvage room down there. So let's go to that next, and we'll look around. All right, so habitation we just came from. Let's go to salvage processing, which should be straight down on this side. This elevator will get you turned around because there are half levels left and right, or fore and aft, rather. You can see one right there. That's the habitation we came from. This is salvage processing, which I can only assume is where you will store and sort salvage that you have collected, but it does say processing, so maybe it's stored underneath and some type of manual cutting or something happens here. I'm not going to go too close to this, but you can see that somehow the salvage goes down here to the floor below us. And y'all hear that? See how creepy this place is? It's too big. Too big and too alien-like. All right. All right, salvage hold. We'll go to that. That's the floor below. You can see here, this is actually quite large as well, even though it has a much smaller ceiling. And this is where that back portion where it looks like some salvage comes down. This looks like some type of an elevator. It looks like this can go up and down. It's on a very mechanical looking apparatus. Now underneath the ship here, there's 2 rails that travel all the way to the front. So that may have something to do with that elevator there. Once again, this is only speculation until salvage comes into the game. All right, and then cargo hold. Cargo hold will be your standard SCU of cargo. This is all salvage on this side. These 3 elevators, or 3 doors here. And then on this side, underneath the habitation deck, is your cargo that you have. Cleverly disguised as a cargo room. All right, and there you have it. That's the interior of the Reclaimer. Final thoughts. At recording, the Reclaimer is not available for real-world money, and it cost $400 the last time it was sold by CIG. However, the Reclaimer can be purchased in-game for about 15 million Alpha UEC. What I like about the Reclaimer? Well, it's a purpose-built industrial ship that is the end-game deep space salvage vessel. Its aesthetics are a dead ringer for Star Citizen's version of the Nostromo from Alien, one of my favorite all-time sci-fi movies. It has decent weaponry for an industrial ship and great overall value. The Reclaimer can be used in creative ways such as a core of a pirate raiding fleet, an impromptu explorer, and it can hold its own in a fight with minimal support. My dislikes are, well, it can be downright creepy at times. But I guess that's also a good thing because it speaks to the quality of the lighting and art design, which causes it to kind of be creepy. The entry from the front or the rear elevators are wonky at best, and it's easy to get stranded out of the ship on a planet with the bouncy landing gear. You must land on almost perfectly level terrain to avoid being stranded. It's not meant for atmosphere or planet-side activities, I know, but it's just something to talk about since it does in fact have landing gear and elevators. Salvage mechanics aren't in the game yet. It's missing the cutter, handles poorly, especially in atmosphere, but that's also to be expected from just the sheer mass of this ship. Changes I'd recommend. Well, I would do something with the rear elevator, possibly add some sort of a ramp system to it, maybe even replace the exterior cargo elevator with an exterior ramp of some sort. I don't know how feasible that is. Just trying to come up with ideas to make it easier to get on and off with both vehicles, cargo, and personnel. I would add ladders or stairs between floors at the rear for power outages, mainly the salvage area is what I'm talking about. And I don't really have much else to suggest until we see salvage mechanics come online and we see how the claw and the cutter, as well as the drones, become functional and how they can be better implemented. Do I recommend the Reclaimer? Well, if you're interested in salvage or even larger scale piracy and want to invest about $400 into Star Citizen's development, then absolutely. I think the ship has a great dollar to Alpha UEC ratio and should be a good moneymaker once the mechanics are in place. Now that's in the future, not currently. Really all you can do with it now is just fly it around, look at it, maybe run a little bit of cargo and do some type of combat missions. Now for in-game Alpha UEC, maybe you might want to grind 15 million Alpha UEC just to kind of walk around the Reclaimer, but I would kind of wait until the mechanics are in place. The only reason I would suggest using real-world money for it is because I think it's an investment if you are considering putting that amount of money into Star Citizen. If that sounds like a crazy amount of money to you, and it should, I would just hold off, buy the Reclaimer in-game once the salvage mechanics are in place. There's really no need to have it right now other than it just looks really cool. But that's it for the Reclaimer. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you enjoy my content, please consider a like, a comment, and or a subscribe. We'll see you next episode. Stay tuned. Bye-bye.